Vinny has everything you need for a perfect tailgate. He's got drinks, food, and an overall family environment. As an advocate for health and fitness, Courtney's gained 3 main nicknames over the years: the ambassador of health and fitness, the godfather of running, and his personal favorite, Mr. Inspiration. Here at FanFest, Marlins fans have a chance to meet their favorite athletes, hang out with Marlins manager Skip Schumacher, and of course get a chance to win season tickets at the always popular Swing for Your Seats. The place has certainly died down in the last few years, but when the current city commission took office in 2022, they took initiative, and now they hope to revitalize this historic location. Thank you, Harvey. And coming up on News Vision, one local charity is making a difference for kids with pediatric cancer. Details when News Vision returns. Stay with us. Baseball season is right around the corner, and there's a new head coach here in Coral Gables. I'll have more with sports after the break. Stay with News Vision. The Hurricanes men's and women's basketball teams both have a lot to look forward to in this upcoming season. First off, on the men's side, Jim Larrañaga said that his team has not one, but 2 really good point guards, one being Bensley Joseph, the other being Nigel Pack. He said Joseph is a great defender and a really good rebounder at the point guard spot, and he also said that Pack is a really good three-point shooter. Today is a special day for the Miami women's basketball team, because inside the Watsco Center right now, there are over 1,000 elementary school students from 15 different schools all here to celebrate Elementary School Day with the Hurricanes. Well, Wrigley, Miami makes their money where we do, in the trenches, and it was Ruben Bain going crazy for the Hurricanes against the Clemson Tigers. One of the best games of his career. 8 tackles, 2 sacks, a forced fumble. He was named ACC Rookie and Defensive Lineman of the Week. This guy is absolutely terrifying. He's playing like a chicken with his head cut off right now. An absolute madman, playing his best football at a scary time with Halloween weekend coming up. Well, Mia, there aren't a lot of returning arms for this Hurricane team. Just 42% of their innings returned from a year ago, and Gage Gill was the leader in that category for the Hurricanes in 2023. He led the team in strikeouts, led the teams in starts and wins as well. 92 innings on the year for Gage. Now, I know we talked about his struggles last year. They started in the beginning of the year, but after those first 3 starts, he was great. 8 shutout innings against NC State, and J.D. Arteaga said he was Miami's best pitcher down the stretch last year. So I think the Hurricanes are trying to carry that momentum that he had at the end of last year into 2024. Well, Wrigley, this is a familiar opponent for the Hurricanes and Jim Larrañaga. They faced Duke twice this year. That loss in Cameron Indoor Stadium, 68-66, which Miami did not rebound well at all. Then the Hurricanes rebounded extremely well in their big win, 81-59 against Duke right here at home. If they could rebound, they could run out in transition and get easy buckets. This would be a huge game for Miami and a huge opportunity for them to win.
Andrew, how can this team win this series this weekend?
Well, look, you got to bounce back after the first loss. We'll get to that one in a minute. But the offense will start with Dory Gonzalez. He's been great for Miami. Coming into today, had 2 walk-offs in the last 3 games, including one against FIU in the midweek. The guy's been great. There's a reason he is the captain of this Miami Hurricanes team with Gage Gill. Number 2, Flyaway Cuvée. Why Flyaway, you might ask? Because, Mia, he is an alien. He doesn't belong on this earth. He's been back on earth for the last 7 games, hitting under 200 in that stretch after starting the year red hot, hitting 500 in his first 14. Now it's time for him to get back to that big day Cuvée status. And number 3, I mentioned it already, you lost 1, but it's time to bounce back. That's why you get 2 more. Welcome to sports. I'm Andrew Klein. Basketball season is wrapping up soon, and the Hurricanes men's basketball team had one of its final road tests of the season on Wednesday. Let's head out to Chapel Hill to take a look at the highlights. Well, we start in the first half here, and Bensley Joseph was marvelous for Miami. He knocks down that triple, 21 for Bensley, a career high, but UNC saying anything you can do, I can do better. RJ Davis goes high off the glass. He had 42, the all-time record in the Dean Dome at UNC. Now later in the first half, whoop, look at that crossover by Joseph. He lays it up and in to cut the lead to 2, but next UNC possession, it's Davis again from 3. The Heels go into the break up by 5 now to the second half, and Davis was doing more of the same, dancing on Keyshawn George from Caitlin Clark range deep in the bag. Davis, 7 3-pointers on the day to go with his 42, but Miami not going away. Bensley Joseph nails that 3-pointer. It's a 7-point game now. A few possessions later, Davis throws it away, the ball pinballing around. Keyshawn George knocks down the 3. It's a 2-point game, but Miami would not be able to complete the comeback. A few UNC free throws later, and the Heels have a win. And Hurricanes baseball is coming off a tough midweek against FGCU, dropping the contest 12-10 in extra innings. But this weekend is their most important series of the season. The Florida Gators are coming to town for the annual Miami UF Series. The series dates back to 1950, and Miami holds a slight advantage in the all-time lead. But over the last 20 years, Florida has owned the rivalry, taking nearly every series against the Hurricanes since 2005. And Florida took 2 of 3 a year ago in Gainesville en route to a College World Series appearance. Hurricanes head coach J.D. Arteaga said the team will not make any changes to their starting weekend rotation, so Gage Deal will take the mound for Miami tomorrow night with first pitch at 7 p.m. And while the winter sports season has not been too kind to the Hurricanes this year, there is one club sports team that's playing for national prominence. This past weekend, the UM Club hockey team took home the South Division III championship. The team defeated Florida Southern 4-0 to take home the trophy. The title comes after a season in which the team went just 17-1. The Hurricanes defeated the Florida Gators 13-1 to advance to the semifinals before a 5-1 win over the University of Tampa to advance to the championship. Now, they'll head to Westchester, Pennsylvania to compete for a national title as the #1 seed in the tournament. And finally, it's not every day that a track star is also a black belt. But here at UM, one athlete is not only a track runner, but also a former junior Olympic martial artist. Taryn Jacobs has the story.
Good evening and welcome to News Vision. I'm Regina Potenza.
And I'm Andrew Klein. Thank you for joining us. Our top story tonight is the war in Israel. We have team coverage and reactions as the Miami community and the world responds. Well, the Super Bowl this Sunday was absolutely awesome. Kelsey brothers, a double-digit comeback, multiple broken records, but bold take here, Rihanna had the best night of them all. As a kid, everyone dreams of taking their talents to the biggest stage. And for one local girl, her dreams are coming true in Augusta. Annie Watson has more. And the Miami Hurricanes women's basketball team open up ACC tournament play tonight against the Boston College Eagles with tip-off starting at 8 p.m. I had a chance to sit down with guard Jasmine Roberts to hear about her journey to the starting lineup. When forward Destiny Harden went down with a concussion in early January, the Miami Hurricanes were 8-6. But since then, they've implemented a new starter into the lineup, Jasmine Roberts, who has elevated her game in her new role.
I felt like it was an opportunity, to be able to play a lot and start the game. There was a little nerves too because I was filling in for Destiny and those are big shoes to fill.
Last year, Roberts came off the bench behind star guard Kelsey Marshall. And although the bench wasn't an ideal place for Jasmine, she made the most of the opportunities that she got.
Coach says the bench is supposed to make the game better, make the team better. So that was always my mentality, go in there and just do what I can to help.
Roberts was quiet and reserved during her freshman season, but she has since blossomed into one of the loudest voices in the Hurricanes locker room.
I think what I'm most proud of for Jazz is the leadership. She doesn't get that title. People don't talk about it enough, but she's probably the most well-liked person on our team, quiet as it's kept.
Coach right here, Mo, is the fave. He's got him mic'd up all practice.
Roberts was named ACC Player of the Week earlier this month, an accomplishment that confirmed in her eyes that her journey has all been worth it.
It told me that I can play and compete with anybody in the country. The ACC is the best conference in women's basketball, and for a week I was the best player in the conference. So that says a lot about myself, and that gave me a lot of confidence too. Okay, you can play with anybody.
Jazz saves our butt. When we don't know what to do, Jazz. If we need rebounding, Jazz. If we need a defensive stopper, Jazz. If we need an open three, somebody who's gonna, dot her I's and cross her T's, get to that low X and lift for us and be there to support her teammates, it's her.
Roberts' versatility has proved key for Miami this season, and she'll try and help the team make a run this year in March Madness. Over the past 5 years, suicide rates among U.S. youth have been on the rise. One organization in South Florida is doing its part to help lower that number after a tragedy of its own. I went to one event they recently held to see how they do that.
He was such an amazing person, and through this foundation, events like this...
17-year-old Sienna Alvarez Coyle lost one of her best friends a year ago. Her friend's name was Kennedy Bailey. Kennedy was only 16 when she took her own life.
We went to school together in 7th grade, and then I'd always done 5Ks once in a while for fun. So then Kennedy and her dad just mentioned going to a track club in Miami Gardens, and then we went and I was super nervous, but she introduced me to everything, and then we started going every day, going to meet together, practicing together, and it honestly made me fall in love with the sport.
Kennedy, she was phenomenal. Personality, human being. She had a lot of friends, and she went out of her way to make people feel safe and loved and accepted.
To honor Kennedy, Sienna decided to organize a 5K run in Miami a year after Kennedy's death, in September, which happens to be National Suicide Awareness Month. The event was sponsored by a foundation called the Kennedy Kids Foundation that was started by Kennedy's father, former football star Robert Bailey, to raise awareness about mental health and suicide prevention.
We're here to help, and there's a lot of resources, and we don't want you going through this. We don't want families going through this. So reach out, to your parents, reach out to organizations like ourselves.
More than 500 people showed up for the race on September 17th, a significantly higher turnout than originally expected.
We were honestly aiming just for 150 to 200 people. Yesterday, 133 people registered last minute. It was insane. So I'm so happy with the turnout. I can't believe that this many people came, but it shows just how many people care for this cause and care for Kennedy.
It means the world to me that people are willing to talk about it and address the mental health situation among our teens today.
According to the National Alliance on Mental Health, suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people aged 15 to 24 right here in the United States, where some 5,000 young people take their own lives each year. And the Baileys are trying to urge parents to prevent that from happening.
Be hyper aware and don't take it for granted that it's just a phase or they're just having an emotional moment. Take it seriously.
Talk to your kids, ask questions, get them help, get therapists, take them to therapy, stay on top of them daily, every day when you recognize there's something going on.
And for Sienna, it is also about keeping the memory of her friend Kennedy alive.
It means so much to me because it feels like I still have a connection to Kennedy, and I feel like I'm still helping her even though she's not here with me. I feel like I can still feel her through all these events and seeing the happiness that it puts on people's face, and now that I know I'm making a difference and this is what she would have wanted, it makes me feel great.
The 5K was the first of many events that the foundation plans to hold in the near future. If you want to support the Kennedy Kids Foundation, you can log on and donate at kennedykids.org. Almost every weekend in Miami-Dade County, you can find a 5K for charity. And at many of these races, you will see one constant face.
And I love running, I love helping people, and I just love to be inspiration to people.
Courtney Barron is a 79-year-old retired veteran who always seems to have a smile on his face. But it took time for Courtney to become the man he truly wanted to be.
I went through a dark time in my life, and I always was a person that loved to inspire people, but I allowed depression to take over, and that's why I have a heart for people who are struggling with depression.
But even through his dark moments, Barron was inspired to persevere.
Well, I have a daughter, and I remember I called her up, she was only 5 years old, and I said, "Baby, you are a princess, you are a queen." And that was my way of trying to prepare her when she heard the news that Daddy committed suicide.
With the winter season right around the corner, Barron understands the struggles that many people will face.
We're getting near the holiday season, and the holiday season is bad for a lot of people. Those that have lost loved ones, maybe they went through a divorce.
As an advocate for health and fitness, Courtney's gained three main nicknames over the years: the ambassador of health and fitness, the godfather of running, and his personal favorite, Mr. Inspiration.
Well, see, the secret is, I'm not always on the mountain. And when I'm sometimes trying to have a pity party, I go out of my way to cheer somebody up. And automatically, you're going to cheer yourself up. So when you give, it come back.
And Barron's ability to help others has not gone unnoticed.
It says that he's dedicated to what he does, and that's what I should be when I grow up.
You see somebody in need of help, you help them. That's why anybody joins the military, is the need to serve, to help your neighbor and your country. And that's what this is all about. And that's what it means to actually serve.
Reporting for UMTV, I'm Andrew Klein.